Welcome to the Informed Entrepreneur Series. My name is Forrest Williams with the Opus Group of Virginia. And this morning I'm proud to be here with Kevin Tucker, president of Solitude Lake Management Company. And we will continue our series on members that are involved with EO, or Entrepreneurs Organization. Kevin, thanks for having us here this morning.
Thank you.
I guess first off, just to start off with, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and what it is and how you got started in it?
Well, Solitude Lake Management is a company that's geared around managing fresh water, improving water quality. We work on lakes, ponds, stormwater retention facilities to take care of any sort of nuisance issues that happen in water that affect water quality. We manage fisheries, we install fountains, aeration systems, and generally we do all the things required to keep a freshwater body in good, pristine condition.
Now, typically I ride by a lake and I just think it's all natural. So who are your customers? Who is it that hires you to manage a lake?
Most of our clients are homeowners, residential homeowners associations, commercial developments, golf courses, municipalities. We do a little bit with Fish and Wildlife Services for the state and federal governments. And a lot of their open natural areas, but it's a pretty broad mix, but a lot of it's geared around planned development where you've got stormwater retention ponds and lakes built into an overall design development.
And how did you get into this? It's not the typical run-of-the-mill type of business. It's certainly unusual. How did you get into it?
Well, I went to school, got a degree in business management and concentration in finance. And after that, I also had some experience in horticulture with landscape design, build type services. And in the process of sort of combining my thoughts about business and what I wanted to do and kind of pulling on some of the experiences I had in the horticulture side of the world, I just realized that there was a niche service that this type of work was necessary and not a lot of people were doing it. So I decided that I was going to educate myself, learn the ins and outs of the business, and take it from there.
And your business has grown fairly well through the years. Tell me about that. How many employees are you up to now?
Well, we currently service 9 states. We have 20 full-time employees on staff, and most of the folks that work here doing the field type of work are degreed aquatic biologists, environmental scientists, ecologists, forestry type folks, and so we have a lot of very specialized, highly educated people out in the field doing the work that we do, and then we've got a support staff as well that specializes in accounting and marketing and the other types of things that are required to run a business effectively.
So if you serve multi-states like that, I'm sure one of the challenges as a business owner must be managing a multi-state operation, having employees all over the place. Tell me about some of the challenges you face with that.
Well, we have a very mobile workforce. Technology has helped with that. Every one of our vehicles that's out in the field doing work has a laptop on board, so they're synced up to our servers in our office and connected to us at all times. So our entire service system is run through, wirelessly through laptops, paperless, which sort of fits our environmental model of being good environmental stewards. And it takes a special person who's a self-starter, who's motivated, who can take responsibility for themselves and go out and know what they need to do. And it is a challenge because we don't necessarily all see each other as much as we would like, but at the same time, we have a lot of independent, free-spirited people who love nature and who really care about the environment, and it's been a pleasure to be part of that.
How often are you required to travel and visit these other locations? Do you do that often?
Myself personally?
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as I have as we were growing. As we've grown, we've been able to bring people on board in a more of a management capacity that have the ability to do the scientific side, but also to run the various offices. So we have a very, what I would say, very good structure here. We have a very good foundation with a lot of good people who I can count on to be responsible for some of the areas, so it doesn't require me to be physically present in all these areas like it once did.
Tell me, what are some of the big challenges you do face managing 20 people, an outfit that's pretty substantial? What are the challenges that you face?
I think with anything, quality is our most important component of the service we provide, and maintaining a consistent quality and a consistent service offering with a wide variety of people and personalities spread over a wide distance is probably one of the challenges, is making sure that we can somehow standardize a process to make sure we achieve quality, yet we're trying to standardize something that is dynamic and that nature is not static, and the people are their own individual people. So, there can be challenges, I guess, in making sure that everything we do from a standpoint of getting the client satisfied is consistent across the board, from person to person, state to state, job to job.
And what's your goal for future growth? Have you got a 5-year plan mapped out?
Ultimately, we would like to grow the business geographically and continue to cover a wider territory, but our more immediate goals are to infill and better saturate the existing areas that we service so that we can improve our performance and our profitability, because one of the challenges we have in managing water is a lot of jobs are not necessarily close by, and travel time and drive time can be one of the biggest challenges to being not only a high quality service but also a profitable service. So if we can become more saturated in the territories we work, then we have a better chance of success.
I mean, what is your goal? Do you see this being a national outfit that you could have literally cover the country with? Is that in the cards for you? Is that more than you think you can bite off?
No, I think that's definitely in the cards, but it's going to be methodical, and it's going to be selecting markets that we feel we can have a positive impact, that will be a good market for us, and it won't be as much about covering the entire country as much as it will be about covering the areas that could use our service the most and that we feel we can have a positive impact.
Is there a lot of competition in this field?
There is, relative to the amount of work there is. I mean, it's not like a lot of other contractors, plumbers, electricians, that type of thing, where there's hundreds in every market. There's only a few in our area and only a handful in the entire state, but relative to the number of potential jobs that are out there and the amount of lakes and ponds that need to be managed, it's the right amount of competition relative to how much demand there is.
Do you have a problem finding qualified people to bring on board? I mean, do you have more lakes to manage than you have people to manage them, or?
Well, I'd say that the challenge there is not so much finding a quality person from a standpoint of knowledge of the science. It's more finding someone who is committed to the mission, doesn't mind being on their own, and is able to be out in far-off places on their own and be successful without necessarily having other people to support them. It takes a special kind of person to be self-sufficient in that way. And so our challenge, staffing-wise, is more having the right, highly motivated, self-sufficient mentality than it is finding someone with the actual knowledge and skill set. Because the knowledge, there's a lot of people out there who can either know or can learn what we do, but the most important thing is finding the person with the right work ethic and the right mentality.
I know as a business owner that finding good people is tough, but keeping them is probably more important once you find that person that really fits. What is it that you do that makes people want to stay with Solitude?
Well, that's a good question, because it sort of fits into the whole premise I had when I started this business. I basically had a couple things I wanted to achieve. I wanted to find a niche that not everybody was doing, that I could charge a fair price, that I could actually make a profit with it, and I could afford to pay as few people as possible a lot of money to do it. And so I think that has continued with us as we've grown, to where the people that work here have to work very hard and have some long hours, but I'm able to pay them at the top of the market for what they do, and that is able to allow us to keep good people. And then in addition to compensation, I think we've developed a culture that encourages people to be personally successful in addition to professionally successful. So I think when you combine it all together, it's a lot of hard work and long hours, but I think we've got people who feel appreciated and feel well compensated for their time.
What do you think are the biggest challenges that are facing your particular industry?
Government regulation is probably the biggest. As you might imagine, the environmental regulation climate is definitely not becoming less stringent. Unfortunately, a lot of government regulations, as is typical in a lot of places, are ill-conceived. A lot of them are duplicative. A lot of them require a lot of extra work for no real gain. And when I say no real gain, I don't mean no real gain to us. I mean they don't result in any real gain for the environment. I think that's probably going to be the biggest challenge, is to keep our customers informed of the regulatory changes, get our customers to understand why these things are necessary to meet those challenges, even though those challenges do not provide the customer with any additional value. That's a huge increase in cost, but the clients don't see any value in that, so that's a huge challenge to keep people moving in the right direction and having to spend more money when they're not getting anything more for it. But it's not because of the service, it's because the government regulations are dictating that things cost more.
We're both members of EO here in southeastern Virginia. I guess first off, how do you assess the business climate here in the Hampton Roads area?
I think the Hampton Roads business climate, what I see, is pretty good overall. I know my business personally, we've been growing consistently. Every year that we've been in business, we've never had a year where we weren't growing over the previous year since I started the company, so I feel very fortunate. I also feel like I should probably knock on wood sometimes when I say that because I don't want to jinx us. I think we're also insulated a little bit in that we cover an area greater than Hampton Roads, so we're not beholden to any one market's success in order for us to be successful. And as we grow geographically, it's easier to bring on clients that may not be so easy if we were in one market trying to grab a bigger share, although we do continue to grow our share of every market in addition to adding markets. But I would say in Hampton Roads, my experience is that business climate is good in what we do, and I feel like it's pretty good overall. And I guess I would say probably better than the country on average. But that's our perspective. Our perspective is sunshiny because things are going well for us.
Good. And because we're both members of EO, why don't we talk about that for a minute? How long have you been in EO?
I've been a member of EO for 6 years now.
And how would you describe your experience in EO?
Experience in EO has been fabulous. I would say a lot of the things that I've done in my business have been a result of some of the sort of little nuggets of wisdom that I've gained through the experience sharing that I have with other business owners through my membership in EO. I would say a lot of the things that I've done that I would consider to be revolutionary within my business have been a result of a seed that was planted through my exposure to EO. So it's been great.
And for those out there that might be watching this and maybe aren't a member of EO, any little nuggets of information you'd pass on to them as a business owner, some tips on whether it be getting started or continuing, obviously, to model the success that you've had in growth, anything you'd pass on?
Well, I'd say that having the ability to experience share with other business owners on a truly intimate and confidential level where you really can dig deep into each other's businesses and into each other's experiences, you gain a wealth of knowledge that you could not possibly get from just yourself and or the people around you in your business, because within your business everybody is sort of focused in one direction, and you get such a wider perspective when you're dealing with multiple business owners who have multiple different types of challenges, and you can open your eyes to things that maybe you would never even have considered had you just been focusing on your own business the whole time.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time. You've heard from Kevin the advantages of being involved with EO. If you're watching this and you're not a member, we encourage you to contact the local Southeastern Virginia chapter and become involved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.